Welcome back, everybody. I think you're going to notice a trend here because guess what? In this next video, I have another coin flip to offer you. And here are now the rules of this particular coin flip. I have on the table here a $100 bill. This is a $100 bill that was given to me by the president of the Indianapolis Colts here in Indiana, USA. That's an American professional American football team, Indianapolis Colts. And he was just going by at training camp giving people $100 bills. A very odd gesture, but I definitely accepted it. And it has his signature on it, and it's a $100 bill. So that's what I'm putting off there. I'm also going to add in another $100 bill for this coin flip. So if you win, $101 on the table for you. If you do not take me up on this coin flip, or if you lose the coin flip first, you've got to pay me $100. And so we can do Zelle, Venmo, or PayPal. I don't care. Just give me the money. We'll get our information. And so think about how you want to deal with this, but know that in a fair coin, I'll let you flip. It's a fair coin. There's no funny business going on. You can choose your own coin if you want. But here's the output. It's going to be $101. We're going to make this a fair bet, 50%. If you lose, that means that's a loss of $100 with a 50% probability of this happening. If you do not want to play, that's okay. Here's option B. That is, no money changes hands, and there's 100% certainty that you don't go in either direction with your wealth. Okay, so I'll ask the question here. How many of you will take me up on this coin flip? And usually, in my approximately 12 years of teaching behavioral finance, I only get maybe one a semester. A couple more now that sports betting is a thing. People like that feeling. But generally, the majority of students and people who I ask, who wants to take this coin flip? And remember, it's only one coin flip. We're not doing any combinations. One and done, one coin flip. And the vast majority of people would say, no, I'm not taking that. And so I'm going to fight back and say, wait a minute, you're not going to take me up on this. Did we not just talk in the previous videos about expected value? And we should know then with expected value, 50 times 101 equals 50.5. 50.5. And 50% times negative 100 is negative 50. But when we add it up, it's 0.5, which we know is greater than 0. So expected value tells us that we should take this. Any utility function that we would use would tell us that, yeah, it's marginally better. We should take this. Well, then the vast majority of people, myself included, so I always try to tease people with, I'll take this bet, I'll take this bet. And when we get to that point of no return, I back off and say, no, I'm with everybody else. I do not want to take this bet. And so we have to unpack. We go, okay, yeah, we definitely all just violated expected value and expected utility. What just happened? And when we drill into this, we think about, it has something to do with losing $100, am I right? And the way I explain it, and the way most people explain it, is we say, I know the math works slightly in the favor, but I also know that losing $100 is going to hurt my well-being more than gaining $101. Losing is going to hurt more than gaining marginally $1 more. So what is that? And now we're learning first thing into prospect theory, which is called loss aversion. So loss aversion is what most people experience, where we say losses loom larger or are felt more. Losses loom larger or are felt more than gains. And so now we have this risky option, and we're going to unpack the three different types of individuals. So first, we've got risk-neutral investors. Risk-neutral. And risk-neutral investors say, I'm not concerned about risk or certainty. So we can all agree, this is risky, this is certain. They say, I don't differentiate between the two. Just give me the expected value or the expected utility. I'll take the maximized amount and I'll go home. So they do not differentiate between risk, and they just want maximum utility. Risk neutral. We also have people who are risk seeking. Risk seekers. And these individuals, they'll play the risky option just because, even if the numbers don't work in our favor. So they'll take a loss of $100, or they'll take a loss of $110 for a 50% gain of $100. And even though the expected value is negative, they will play the risky option. And some of you might go, no, that's ridiculous. No way. Well, I would encourage you to go to Las Vegas. The whole city is built on risk-seeking behavior. And now, more recently, we have legalized sports betting in the United States, and it is making risk-seeking behavior very cool and very popular, and is a multi-billion-dollar business that is exponentially growing each day. And this is all based on risk-seeking behavior. And this says, play the risky option, even if it doesn't make sense. Even if, I'm just going to call it what it is, if it's stupid. And you can make your excuses. Oh, well, it's entertainment. Making bad decisions, suboptimal, that's entertaining? Anyway, I'll stay off of it. We're going to leave it, though. That's risk-seeking behavior. And everybody else has risk aversion, and that's where the loss aversion fits in. It's an aversion to risk, even if the expected value in our original example is higher expected value. So risk aversion is the tendency to stay away from the risky options. And now, before I leave you here, I'm going to ask you, back in our original question, by the way, I did not make this up, so if you see on sports betting app, if you do a point spread, and you'll usually get negative 110 or negative 110, this is the bet that you're essentially making. You would lose $110 in order to gain $100, and the 50-50 probability is assigned. But my question now, back to the original example, is in order for you to put up $100 in this coin flip, there is a number. What number do you need to switch your decision? What is your number that you need to change your decision? Right here. Everyone's got one. Everyone's different. So If I look at this, my number is usually around 170 to 180, and it even fluctuates. But the average investor in academic literature says most average investor is 225. They would need $225 in order to take this coin flip. And so now we can actually do a little bit of math, and we can learn a term called the loss aversion coefficient. Coefficient. And this is just a factor of how much you feel losses more than you feel gains. So 225 divided by 100 equals 2.25. There is your loss aversion coefficient. Mine, as I said, is 170 to 180, so I would be 1.7 to 1.8 is how much I feel losses compared to my gains. Now, there is no right or wrong loss aversion coefficient, but it's important for us to understand our own loss aversion coefficient, and that's what I hopefully is starting to formulate in your mind. It's also worth noting that if you have a spouse, it's worth knowing their loss aversion coefficient. My wife happens to be very loss averse. Anybody over $1,000 we call hyper loss averse. Many retirees are hyper loss averse. So they're going to need over 1,000. Their coefficient is over 10. And like I said, we need to understand if we're managing people's money or if we're managing our own marriages and relationships, we need to understand others' loss aversion coefficient. Because writing on a piece of paper a hypothetical, what do you think your risk aversion is, isn't going to get the true risk tolerance. And that's why I love going through this coin flip exercise and try to make it as real as possible. So if you actually saw the $100 bill in front of you, how much would you really need to walk through and go through that coin flip? Now, this is our introduction to prospect theory. It's the first step of many. So I hope this whets your appetite. And we're going to continue to dig into this very fascinating violation of treating losses different than gains. That's violation number 1. When we come back, we're going to continue on. We've got 2 more violations to talk about, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks.